Today, we're tackling a phrase I know you've heard before. Your labs look normal. But what if you still feel tired, puffy, moody, or stuck? What if your weight's creeping up, but your doctor says everything looks fine? In this episode, we're breaking down why standard lab ranges often miss the early signs of metabolic dysfunction and which markers actually matter if you want to catch insulin resistance before it turns into a full blown disease. Hey guys, welcome back to the Glucose Diaries. I'm Stephanie. So let's say you go to the doctor, you get your blood drawn, and then you hear these four magic words. Everything looks completely normal. But here's the problem. Normal just means you fall somewhere within the average American. And right now, almost 9 out of 10 American adults are metabolically unhealthy. That means normal, quote unquote, doesn't mean healthy. It means common. It means average. And average today means insulin resistance, inflammation, and rising risk for metabolic disease. Not anything I want. So if you're trying to figure out what's going on with your energy, fat gain, or cravings, there are a few labs you need to understand. So the first one is fasting glucose. What this is your blood sugar after fasting, i.e. not eating, for about 8 to 12 hours. So the conventional range that you're going to see like on your little lab test result on the right-hand column, usually it says recommended range, is anything under 100. Functional range, which is going to be something that a functional medicine doctor would usually use, is going to be closer in a range of 70 to 85. And so you can already see the difference between conventional versus functional. And when I say functional, probably the best way to think of that is optimal. That's what the functional medicine doctors are usually using because they're looking to optimize us. When we go to a regular doctor, unfortunately, they're using conventional ranges, which are the ranges that are just trying to make sure you don't have disease. Does that make sense? So one's more of a proactive approach and one's more of a reactive approach in my mind. The second marker to look at is something called A1C. I know that sounds like a lot of jibber jabber, but A1C measures your average blood sugar over 2 to 3 months. Normal, i.e. conventional, is anything under 5.7. So if you're under 5.7 with your doctor, they're usually going to give you a thumbs up. Hey, I'll see you next year. Optimal is going to be closer between the range of 5.0 to 5.3. And just a side note, don't worry. I have a freebie you can download that's going to have all these ranges on there so that you don't have to remember all this, especially if you're in the car driving or something. And the third marker to look at that's super important that your doctor's probably not pulling if you have a normal glucose, this drives me crazy, is called fasting insulin. This is the most overlooked, but arguably the most important marker to look at from a metabolic standpoint. Insulin often rises years before glucose, and the functional range, the optimal range, is anywhere between 2 to 6 for fasting insulin. Most doctors won't test this, but it tells you if you're in fat burning mode or storage mode. A lot of doctors don't really worry about your fasting insulin. They don't even check it, unfortunately. But if they do check it, usually they only address it when it's 20 or higher, which is a really big deal because you could be storing fat, being inflamed, being tired, not being able to lose weight, and having a metabolic storm happening in your body for years. And nobody says anything until you're full-blown pre or diabetic. So if your fasting insulin is elevated, your body is already storing fat, even if your blood sugar looks fine. This explains why so many women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s are like, I'm eating clean, I'm exercising, but my weight will not budge, or their body composition has totally changed and they just feel like they've got way more just fat on their body. It's not about calories. It's about hormones, specifically insulin, because insulin is the storage hormone. Most labs don't test for it unless you absolutely demand it and ask for it because they're just not programmed to do that. I don't know why. I wish I did. So here's what you can do today. Ask your doctor to test the following. And again, this is going to be in the freebie you can download. Your fasting insulin, your A1C, your fasting glucose, and 2 others that we didn't cover, which are triglycerides and HDL. To make this really easy, I've created a free metabolic lab snapshot guide that you can download at theglucosediaries.com/labs. And that's going to be in the show notes as well. It's going to break down the top 5 markers to track, the optimal ranges that are recommended from a functional perspective. And I also have on there the conventional ranges so you can compare and see as well as some information on what each marker means. So if your labs came back normal, but your symptoms say otherwise, trust your gut, especially if they didn't even test for some of these markers. You're not crazy and you're not broken. I just want to remind you, you might just be stuck in early stage insulin resistance. And the good news is you can catch it before it turns into something bigger. So make sure to download the free guide at theglucosediaries.com/labs. Follow the show for more episodes on how to lower your insulin, flatten your glucose spikes, and turn your metabolism back on. Remember, this show is for educational purposes only. I'm not a doctor, but I am a girl who got her labs back, saw normal, and knew something was off. You deserve better answers, and this show is here to help you find them. Thanks for listening to the Glucose Diaries. I'll see you in the next episode.